I don't think there is anything to be worried as far as future of the policies or LIC not paying out any of the amounts to any policy holder.
There is nothing to bother about, and we have to ignore this report with the contempt it deserves.
The Washington Post report should be just trashed and not paid any attention. LIC is a listed company now. Obviously, government is a promoter. LIC has a duty to its stakeholders, which is shareholders, which includes the government, and largely the policy holders of LIC. LIC is not a monopoly industry. The policy holders can go to other private insurance providers. So if they feel that LIC is not the right company, the policy holders will desert LIC and go to other companies. I don't think government exerts any undue control over LIC beyond their shareholding.
LIC gave money in 2025. Now why is the report coming out now?
So LIC's investment in the NCD, which is a non-convertible debentures of Adani Ports of rupees 5,000 crores, happened in May 2025. May 25th, in fact, was when Adani Ports announced. So it is very surprising to see that when Adani Ports has made the proper announcement that the 5,000 crore was subscribed to by LIC in May 2025, and the bonds were AAA rated by CRISIL and at 7.75% coupon. All the terms are available in the public domain. So after 5 months of that investment, ascribing motives to LIC seems very far-fetched.
Is there any big issues, sir? These type of developments?
I don't think, firstly, the Washington Post article has any data to substantiate that the 3.9 billion any investment, where did they get this 3.9 billion from is not known. How does it add up is not known. Whatever investments have been made by LIC in the stocks of Adani Group, they are all in the public domain. And it is, LIC has invested in Adani Group stocks for the past 10 plus years, even preceding this current government. So from that perspective, it's not clear why there is a favoritism of LIC towards Adani Group. Secondly, LIC's investments in Adani Group, be it stocks or bonds, are only a small percentage of its overall AUM. And two is, they have made substantially more investments in other business groups like the Tata Group or the Reliance Group or any other Birla Group, etc. So from that perspective, to ascribe motives to LIC's investments in Adani Group seems far-fetched.
In middle-class families, sir, because in India there are so many middle-class families that are taken the LIC policies. There is a fear about this after this report. So how to handle this fear, middle-class family? What is the message for them?
I think there is no need to be fearful. As such, this is an investment. One is LIC is sitting, has investments of almost 15,000 crores just in equities, beyond that in bonds and other things. Whatever investments it's been made in Adani Group are all safe. First is, by themselves, they are not huge as a total assets under management of LIC. Second is, all the investments made in Adani Group is made in infrastructure businesses, which are monopoly characteristics. Every time you use a power, Adani Ports or Adani Power or airport, Adani is in turn generating revenue for itself. So these are very secure businesses with long-term potential, long-term gestation and long-term revenue earning potential. So a port or an airport or a road is going to be there for 15, 20, 25 years. It's not going to disappear overnight. So that's where I think policyholders need not fear anything from this news item at all.
Is this effect for in future of the policies, sir, LIC policies?
I don't think there is anything to be worried as far as future of the policies or LIC not paying out any of the amounts to any policyholder. So that is too much of a far-fetched thing. The Washington Post report should be just trashed and not paid any attention to.
Based on the guidelines which LIC has, it has made investments in all companies, not only in the Adani Group, but in many other companies. And that is based on certain principles which they have set out, the limits up to which they can invest in every company, group company. So they have made that investment in a very professional manner, and I don't think there is any substance in this report of Washington Post. For what reason Washington Post has made this, one doesn't know, but all that I know is that LIC is a professionally managed institution which is publicly owned by the shareholders of India, and they will not do anything which is outside the guidelines and parameters which they have laid out.
Not only Washington Post, some other Western media are continuously trying to target the image of Adani Group of companies. What might be the possibility?
I don't know what is a possible reason. There doesn't seem to be any reason whatsoever, but possibly they are trying to link it with the ruling party, and they are not only trying to tarnish the image of Adani Group, but also of the ruling party. So I think this is some political issues involved. I don't want to comment on it. But all that I can say is that these reports have to be ignored, because LIC has issued clarifications, and we accept the clarifications of LIC being a highly esteemed professional institution belonging to the people of India. It doesn't belong to the government of India, it belongs to the people of India. And therefore we accept the clarifications issued by LIC, and we ignore the reports which have come in the Western press.
As per the official record available about LIC investment in various Indian and non-Indian companies, Adani Group is not the most prominent one of them. Why other companies are not targeted but Adani Group only?
Yes, LIC has invested large amounts in ITC, in the Adani Group, in various other institutions. And as I told you before, they have done it based on certain guidelines, certain principles, certain parameters. So there is no question of, singling out Adani Group, because they have followed all the parameters. If there is anybody who has the right to question LIC, it will be the SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. They have not questioned it. In fact, they have given a clean chit to Adani Group. And all investments made according to the regulations and stipulations of LIC. So there is nothing to bother about, and we have to ignore this report with the contempt it deserves.
Why has this report come out only now?
It's not the first report. There is a systematic conspiracy against the Adani Group for obvious reasons, because they are investing in ports, highways, infrastructure, airports, which lot of vested interests, especially interests outside India, do not like. We had Mr. George Soros himself saying that he is very happy that Adani Group is in trouble, that a Hindenburg report has come out, and that would put political pressure in India. Why should a globalist like Soros care about political pressure in India? And these are various big fronts, like a 1 billion front against India, which George Soros himself was a part of, and other various corporate warfares and even national interests. Because of these ports and highway infrastructure of Adani and footprint outside India, there are various global players which are not very happy with an Indian player entering into these industries, because they have a strategic role. So we had a Hindenburg report, and off on we will keep having hit jobs. What they do is they cherry pick certain amount of data. They use normal business practices or normal investment decisions of any entity and twist and turn it as if to show that there is some great crony capitalism happening and there is some deviation of the rules, which is obviously not there. In India, people went to Supreme Court on various cases against Adani, and nothing came out after a transparent hearing where both sides were heard. So it's nothing new except a policy decision which certain vested interests have taken to frame Adani in one problem or the other so as to benefit their business interests.
So linked to upcoming state or Bihar election or parliamentary?
Of course it's linked. Firstly, there is a plan which is to put Adani into trouble, because for 2 years, James Bond has this famous line, once is a happenstance, second time is a coincidence, third time it's enemy action. These are 3 years of non-stop attacks on Adani. And obviously, because they themselves say that Adani being under pressure puts Indian economic system under pressure, puts the Prime Minister or the government under pressure, that's their attempt. So, of course, when an important election is happening, or immediately before Parliament, so that it becomes a big news in India, these are very strategically well thought out decisions, and the timing is very strategic to have maximum impact, which the people who want to harm these interests want. It's a nonsense issue. We saw what was Hindenburg, a short seller. People abroad will not even look at reports like this, and Hindenburg has now been in deep trouble. Itself is not a viable entity. So we are trusting sources which are not viable entity, which themselves say they want to make money by shorting a stock, and we are enabling them to make money in India by destroying Indian companies. I think there should be an investigation on all those people who had prior knowledge of Hindenburg or shorted the stocks or made profit out of it. That would put an end to these unsavory practices.
Adani Group being questioned when global insurance or personal fund also invest in large infrastructure company for stable long-term returns.
All insurance funds invest, and why only Adani? There are, I don't want to name the companies, but LIC has bigger investments and a higher exposure in various Indian companies. LIC would invest in Indian markets. That's how you would generate return. That's how you would offset risk. So as I said, what they try to do is take a normal practice and twist and turn it by cherry picking, and then get selective authors outside India who are no long known for having an agenda and get them published in various journals. I do not know why we take it seriously. Unfortunately, in India, they have vested interests which raise these things. Otherwise, what a New York Times says or what a Washington Post says, how does it matter in India, except to certain political people who believe they can then settle their scores.
About 70% of Adani stocks and are benefiting. Why should it be wrong for LIC to invest?
As I said, it's a normal business practice, and it's been clarified that it has been an independent decision made in transparent process, well in line with the rules. See, in India, no bureaucrat in a high profile stock like this or in a high intensity transaction will break the rules, because if not today, after 3 years it will come out. So let me tell you, as somebody who knows the Indian bureaucracy rather well, they would not do it for anybody saying when they know in 2, 3, 5 years if they have broken any rules, it could be trouble. So what has actually happened is they are doing it transparently and as per rules, and later by twisting or cherry picking, you can try to throw mud at anything. It's a strategy, try to throw as much mud as possible, hope something sticks. We should not take all this very seriously.